This is my audience. Hello.
Have you ever been stereotyped in a negative way? It doesn't feel very good, does it? As a special education major, I've heard many a stereotype about the students that I plan to teach. But these stereotypes are harmful not just to those we think about, but those ourselves and our own way of thinking as well. When you think about special education, you should avoid negative stereotypes that are enforced by the media and those around you. Today, we'll look at the effect of stereotypes in special education, where stereotypes come from and how to debunk them, and debunking specific different types of stereotypes about special education. First, we'll look at the effect of stereotypes in special education and understand why they should be avoided. When I was a para, I once had a student who I worked with who looked at me one day and said, "I can't do it." And I said, "Why can't you do it?" And he said, "Because I'm stupid." And when I asked him who had told him that, he replied with another student who was not in special education. And this just shows the incredibly harmful effect that stereotypes have on children. If somebody believes they are stupid and then they tells them they are stupid, they will believe it. Lu M is a doctor in the special education department at Guangzhou University in China. In Lu M's study, Chinese college students' knowledge of the autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and social distance from individuals with the ASD, the mediating role of negative stereotypes from 2021, the study team found that students with autism were often socially distanced from those around them due to negative stereotypes about autism. This is incredibly harmful to students who have disabilities. And we want to avoid this, ultimately. Think about the people with disabilities who were already successful. Albert Einstein was actually thought to have autism, and Stephen Hawking is one of the brightest minds of our generation, and he had severe disabilities. The effect that alienation has on somebody and throughout their life is incredibly harmful. This alienation that is caused by stereotypes can have a severe impact on mental health as one grows older. Now we'll look at the effect that stereotypes have. Now that we've looked at the effect that stereotypes have, let's look at where stereotypes come from. Stereotypes that are passed around via the media are very prevalent. There are many different stereotypes that get passed around via the media. There are many different sources that portray autism, for example, as a disease that causes those affected by it to be uncaring and unfeeling. This is untrue. We must analyze the credibility of these media sources. Is the source qualified to speak on this information? What is the purpose of portraying the disability? If the answer is only for entertainment, you might want to question the source if the source is a credible one. What to do when you meet a possible stereotype is this. Think to yourself, is the source credible? Is it backed up by research? If not, do your own research. After going over where stereotypes come from, let's look at some specific stereotypes that need debunking. Let's look at my visual aid for this part. Special needs are caused by bad parenting. This is simply not true. Most special needs are caused by a genetic disorder or some form of trauma or some form of medical disability. Another one is autism is caused by vaccines. This was a myth that was perpetrated by Andrew Wakefield in the late 80s. He is a doctor that no longer has his medical license due to the fact that he was using it improperly. So we must consider the source when we see these stereotypes. Students in special education can't learn. This is just simply not true. Students who are in special education have just as much of the ability to learn as students in the general education, even though these students may be on a lower level. And disabilities are a tragedy that deserve pity. This is also not true. Many people in the deaf community consider their disability not to be a tragedy, but just a different way of living. When thinking about special education, one should not consider the negative stereotypes enforced by the media or those around us. Instead, one should think about how those in special education can be included in activities we do and how we can better welcome these students. Today, we talked about the effect of stereotypes in education, where stereotypes come from and how to debunk them, and debunking different types of stereotypes about special education. If we all stop to examine our bias and rethink negative stereotypes about special education, we ultimately do our part in helping others and making the world a better place. Thank you.